Hey everyone, ready for another deep dive? Today we're tackling something everyone has an opinion on, baby names.
Yeah, it's one of those topics, you don't really think about until you need to, and then suddenly it's all you think about.
Right, like I remember when I was pregnant with my first, the baby name books were like my constant companions.
Totally. And nowadays there's like a million websites and apps and even, card games dedicated to helping you choose the perfect name.
Speaking of which,
Mm.
in this deep dive we've got two pretty interesting sources. One is about a card game called Name Game, and the other one's all about, the name Liam.
Yeah, Liam.
Yeah.
It's been super popular for a while now. I bet everyone listening knows at least one Liam.
Oh yeah, for sure. But what's the story there? Is it just trendy or is there something more to it?
Well, one thing that makes Liam so interesting is it's not just some made-up name. It comes from the Irish form of William, which means, strong-willed warrior or protector. Pretty cool,
Huh,
right?
wow, I didn't know
So
that. So it's got like a built-in history and meaning.
exactly. And it seems to work across so many different cultures and languages, too.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, you hear Liam everywhere these days. Do
Hmm.
you think that's partly because it's easy to say in so many different languages?
Maybe. And, it might also be because it kind of suggests, like, strength and resilience, and those are
Yeah,
pretty universal qualities.
definitely. And speaking of strength and resilience,
Oh,
when I think of Liam, I can't help but think of like Liam Hemsworth.
right, from the Hunger Games.
Yeah, he totally embodies that action hero vibe.
And then you've got like Liam Payne from One Direction, who's, more on the charming and musical side.
Yeah, so it's like Liam can be uh, rugged and adventurous or like sweet and sensitive.
Yeah, totally. It's wild how it can fit so many different personalities.
It really does. And it's not just trendy either. It feels kind of timeless.
It is. It's easy to spell, rolls off the tongue, just sounds good. It manages to be both classic and contemporary at the same time.
Exactly. It's not old-fashioned, just timeless. Do you think those famous Liams have anything to do with, like, its popularity?
That's a great question. We often see celebrities influencing baby names, right? They pick something unique and suddenly everyone's talking about it.
Yeah, it's like they set the trends without even realizing it.
Yeah.
But honestly, choosing a baby name can be daunting, right?
Oh, for sure. So many options. And that's where something like Name Game can be helpful.
Oh, yeah, right. So how does this name game thing work?
So it's a card game with like a bunch of baby names on them, 100 for boys and 100 for girls. And it's all about making the process fun and less stressful.
You mean instead of arguing over names, you play a game?
Exactly. It shifts things from, potential conflict to teamwork.
That's a really cool idea. So
Oh,
you're
hi.
saying it's a way to make the whole thing more enjoyable and less stressful.
Totally. And it helps you find names you might not have thought of otherwise.
Okay, that makes sense. So it sounds like name game could be really useful for couples just starting their baby naming journey. What about folks who are already deep into those baby name books?
It can still be super helpful. Like it gets you thinking about what you really like and dislike.
I see, I see. But we were talking about those broader trends earlier. How does this name game fit into all that?
Well, it gives you a good starting point, but ultimately, choosing a name is such a personal decision, right?
Absolutely. It's about finding a name that feels right for you and your partner and your baby. Now, I'm curious, how does this card game actually work?
Well, let's dive into the details of Name Game and see how it helps make this whole journey more fun. So, the game is designed to be super easy to play. It's not complicated or anything, and the cards are divided into all these different categories.
Oh, that's cool. Like what kind of category?
Well, you've got your like classic names, your trendy names, unique names, all the usual suspects. And then they have categories based on origins, like Irish names or Greek names or even nature-inspired names.
Oh, I like that. So you can kind of focus on the styles you like
Yeah.
or explore different origins.
Exactly. And the way you play is really interactive too. Couples take turns drawing cards and then you talk about the names you like or dislike.
I bet that sparks some interesting conversations. So do the cards just have the names on them or is there like more information?
Oh yeah, each card has the name, the meaning, and even a little bit about like where it comes from or its history.
That's really helpful. Sometimes I'll hear a name and I'm like, ooh, that's pretty. But then I look up the meaning and I'm like, never mind.
Right. But with Name Game, you get all that info right away.
So how do couples actually pick a name? Is it like a voting system or something?
Well, the game doesn't really tell you how to decide. It's more about like using the cards as a starting point for discussion.
So it's really about like helping couples figure out what they both like.
Yeah.
and maybe discover some names they'd never even considered before.
Exactly. And it can be a lifesaver for couples who are feeling like totally overwhelmed.
It makes the whole thing less about stress and more about fun, right?
Totally. Choosing a baby name should be exciting.
For sure. It's a celebration, right? It's about new life and creating this meaningful legacy for your child.
Yeah. And I mean, Name Game is a cool tool, but in the end, it's all about finding a name that feels right for you and your family.
Exactly. It's got to be something that resonates with you. And that kind of brings us back to Liam, you know? What is it about that name that just clicks with so many people?
I think part of it is, like we were saying, the history, the fact that it works across cultures. But maybe it's also about the qualities the name represents.
What do you mean?
Well, Leah means strong-willed warrior or protector, right? And those are qualities that lots of parents want for their kids. They want them to be strong and able to face challenges.
I see, I see. So maybe choosing a name like Liam is a way of like projecting those hopes onto your child.
Yeah, maybe. It's like giving them a name that carries a certain energy with it.
It's not just a label, it's like a symbol of your hopes and dreams for them.
Exactly.
And I think that's something every parent can connect with. Whether you pick a classic name like Liam or something totally unique, it's about finding a name with meaning.
Absolutely. It's about infusing that name with your love and your hopes for your child.
So even though Liam might be trendy, its popularity could also be because of those like deeper desires parents have for their kids.
Right. It's interesting how a simple name can be so powerful.
It really is. And it makes you wonder about other names that have, stood the test of time. What makes them so timeless?
Ooh, that's a great question, and one we should definitely explore.
Feels like we could talk about baby names forever. There's
Yeah.
just so much to think about.
I know, right? We've covered like history and meaning and even celebrity trends. But I think what's most fascinating is how names reflect, like the values of a certain time period.
Yeah, like how some names become popular after big events or like social movements.
Exactly. Like, think about names that suggest strength or hope. You often see those become more popular after, like times of war or hardship.
It's almost like parents are trying to give their kids those qualities through their names.
Right. And then you've got names that go in and out of style. It's so funny. Like, my grandma's name is Eleanor, and it's suddenly cool again.
It's true. What was old is new again, like with fashion.
Yeah. But it makes you wonder what causes these shifts. Like, is it nostalgia or just, wanting something different?
Maybe it's all of the above. What's really interesting to me is how some names just stay popular.
Yeah, like Liam. It's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it has this timeless quality that people just keep coming back to.
It really does. So for anyone out there trying to choose a baby name, what advice would you give them?
I'd say don't get too caught up in trends. Focus on finding a name that feels right for you and your family.
And don't be afraid to be a little different.
Exactly. Check out different origins, think about family names, and if something unique feels right, go for it. Just, enjoy the process. Choosing a name should be fun and exciting.
Absolutely. And hey, if you want a fun way to get started, Name Game is a great option.
It is. It helps you explore different names, have some good conversations, and just take some of the stress out of the whole thing.
You never know, you might find the perfect name while you're playing.
So, whether you love classic names like Liam or something totally unique or a special family name, the most important thing is to choose a name that feels right for your little one. It's a name they'll have for their whole life, so choose with, love and care.
So well said. We'll leave you all with that thought. Happy baby naming, everyone.